How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. Snapchat just crashed. They're down 25.5% after the market closed. And this is after they've been beaten down all year. After the last couple earnings reports, I believe they fell pretty drastically as well. And now they're down 25%, down to like a $12 billion market cap, $13 billion market cap. I want to talk to you about why this is. They also brought down Google and Facebook as well. Facebook down nearly 4.5% after the market closed. We're going to go through their earnings, and I think it will be important because we do have a lot of large companies that are large advertising companies, so it will affect the overall market. Now, if you don't mind, hit the subscribe button underneath the video. Also, check out the link to moomoo. It's a trading platform where you can get tons of free money, and it does help out the channel. Just deposit $100 onto the platform, and you can get some free stocks. Now, we know why the overall market fell today. We had the 10-year treasury going up so much. It's up to almost 4.25%. But what happened just now is Snapchat announced earnings, and like I said, it does affect the overall market because they're really the first advertising company, and a lot of big companies are advertising companies like Google, Facebook, even Amazon has a large portion of their business that is in advertising. Now, when you see this, when you see Snapchat down 25.5%, you would think that their earnings would be horrible, probably a double miss on guidance, that kind of thing. That's not what happened. They plunged 25%, but they beat on earnings per share. They were expecting $0 in earnings per share, 0 cents in earnings per share. They got an 8 cents EPS, and they missed 1% on revenue. They had $1.13 billion versus $1.14 billion expected, and they beat on daily active users. So they had 363 million versus 358.2 million expected. So right there, it's surprising that they fell 25%. However, there are a couple reasons that they're falling, I think. First of all, they had their third quarter revenue grow 6% from a year earlier, but this is the first time that dropped to single digits since they IPO'd. Also, they said that they're going to have a hard time giving guidance, essentially, because of the fact that revenue in Q4 is typically disproportionately generated in the back half of the quarter, close to Christmas, which further reduces our visibility. And they say likely that year-over-year revenue growth will decelerate as we move through Q4, due in large part to the fact that Q4 has historically been relatively more dependent on brand-oriented advertising revenue, which declined slightly on a year-over-year basis in the most recent quarter. So they're not saying that it stopped growing so quickly. They're saying it actually declined. So this is obviously a negative. Now, maybe part of this is due to Apple's iOS updates. Maybe part of it's just due to the economy because people are just generally fearful of a recession and the inflation that we're seeing. So people and companies probably aren't advertising as aggressively. But still, this, I think, is pretty drastic when you consider the fact that they beat on earnings per share and they were close on revenue and they beat on daily active users. The problem here also comes in their slide deck. They say average revenue per user is actually going down globally significantly. So you see the average revenue per user globally going down 11%. Now, a lot of that is coming from rest of the world and Europe, most likely due to the dollar just exponentially going up in value. But you can also see actually a decline in North America revenue as well, and the average revenue per user. So not just around the world, but they're also seeing less revenue per user. And again, that might just be because people aren't advertising as much. They're not willing to pay as much for advertisements. So overall, it is going to affect the overall market. As you can see, Google is down 2.5%. They didn't announce earnings. Facebook's down 4.5%. And I think this will probably affect Google the least of these three different companies because of the fact that they have a large business, and it's not all advertising. It's obviously mostly advertising. Facebook obviously is almost all advertising. Snapchat, all advertising. Amazon is actually down a tiny bit as well today, but again, that's just a small part of their business when you consider the retail, when you consider the cloud business as well. So I wanted to give you this update. Obviously, there are a lot of things hurting the market, like the 10-year treasury, like all the treasuries, and then also inflation. But this might have a big effect on the market tomorrow. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And check out moomoo underneath the video. Bye.